Welcome to another exciting episode of KD Live. I'm here with DeWayne Rains. I'm the VP of Sales at Key Digital, and my cohort here, the ever wonderful Mr. Jonathan Ferry, our VP of Product Education and Experience. And Jonathan, I believe we've got a very special guest with us here today, and that would be Mr. Paul Hagen. It's not Paul Hagen Sr., but he is a senior systems design engineer and designer at Sight on Sound in Fargo, North Dakota. Welcome, Paul.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Thanks for joining us, buddy. It's been a long road leading up to here, but we finally get to talk about this project like it's behind us, and like it's just another notch on the belt, another great success story. Thanks to all your efforts so far, Paul, and really excited to do this with you.
And it's not just one project, it was actually two in one.
Yeah, two projects, two different sites, same client.
Yeah, very, very cool. And so those projects we're talking about there, let's jump in on the screen share and show everybody the Dakota Magic and Dakota Sioux casinos, these brand new sports books installed by Sight on Sound out of Fargo, North Dakota. We've got two systems there. And really, what brought you guys into the Dakota Nation sports books, Paul?
I've been the AV provider for Dakota Magic Casino for about 20 years. So and they just did a big remodel 5 years ago. We redid everything, the entire building ground up remodel. And they had a space that during COVID wasn't, was shut down, because it wasn't making them any money. And they decided to build sports betting became legal in North Dakota. So they called me and said, we need a sports book. We want one in all three of our casinos, which we did two of the three. The third one's just a little small casino. It was just not a big room. But so I went down, I met with the CEO. We went and discussed a bunch of things. I already have Key Digital in the other half of the casino, so we already knew what we were doing for this. I pretty much had to plan them ahead immediately because I already had the system built on the other side. But we put in a brand new system and tied the other one into this one so we could get a few sources from the other system. But yeah, it was just a long project. We took off, went to Vegas. We looked at 40 casinos in a day and a half, got a bunch of ideas, came back and sat on the drawing board for about 4 months. Wow.
Yeah. And, since the opening, we've got again, some great accomplishments here. The sports books are being lauded as the best in each of their respective states. Is that right?
Pretty much. I was traveling to another location in the state of North Dakota to discuss with them some plans, and I sent DeWayne a picture of what they have, and
we won't share that on this broadcast.
we pretty much blow them out of the water, but for what we can tell, we built the largest direct view LED walls anywhere in the state of North Dakota or South Dakota that are privately owned.
Very, very cool. And
not including the big sports facilities, but
yeah, right. You're not talking about arenas here. We're talking sports books. So that brings us to the construction stages. Starting off as skeletons in the rack there, and putting everything in piece by piece meticulously. Or, I know that part of our AV over IP services have helped you, and we hope so anyhow, which is, our AV over IP pre-configuration. And did we even ship these off in the rack to you?
No, I racked them myself. Oh, wait, no, they were racked. Yeah, they were. The encoders were pre-racked, pre-configured. I just had to bolt them in the rack and hook them up.
Super cool.
That makes it so much easier. And Paul, tell us a little bit about how many DirecTV receivers are there source wise?
The casino in Hankinson has 11 direct TV boxes, 4 Apple TV players, and access to 2 channels off the 1080p matrix on the other side of the casino, which we're just using for digital signage. And then at the other casino, there's 13 direct TV boxes, 11 Apple TVs, 2 signage players, 67 displays, I think we're at, or 65 displays.
That's awesome. And then, yeah, and then, you know, obviously the crown jewel that we're talking about, you can see the image there behind you, is that 31 foot by 10 foot LED wall that was in both of the casinos, the North Dakota and the South Dakota. And here's a image as that was going up. I believe this is probably the North Dakota location, isn't it, that we're looking at?
Yep. This is the second one we did. We did the first one first, figured out what we were doing wrong. So this one went up a lot faster.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. Once we figured out the tricks, this one went a lot faster.
Very, very cool. Yeah. So construction, I mean, it's a huge project. I mean, give us an overall scope of, you know, counts of equipment used. Go ahead. You could tell the names of the LED processor, the names of your audio system, and encoder decoder count. We're interested in all this stuff.
Well, okay. So at the Dakota Magic, we already had an audio system in place. This used to be a lounge, and right where that video wall was a big stage. And I had a line array flown from the ceiling, big floor subs, huge sound system. They said, "Nah, we're not making any money." The guy told me that there's 3 things in casinos that don't make a money after, and our community, but there's a rain system. At the Dakota or at the Dakota Sioux, that audio system is all brand new, using biamp speakers again, but using a QSC processor that I incorporated into the entire casino floor. So I'm running the entire casino operations from the QSys side. As far as displays, all the TVs are Sony. The video wall is GLIC LED out of Los Angeles. When it came time to put the wall in, and I was reaching out to different people, I didn't know who to talk to. I reached out to all my vendors and said, "Who should I talk to?" And I said, "I'm going to Vegas. I want to look at some." This guy actually met me at the front door of the casino in Vegas and gave me tours of all the video work he had done in Vegas. And he was there hand in hand the whole time and was hands-on. So I had to use him. The ticker screen is by a company out of Kansas called, boy, you're gonna make me answer that question. But they're out of Kansas. They build these tickers that are for sports or they're for stocks. So you can see stock like your stock tickers, you know, if you want to build a room that has stock market and stuff. But we use the one for sports. It's by Rise Display, and they were great to work with. They're custom built to our lengths. I told them how much room I had. They said, "Here's what we can do." Fit right on top of the video wall real nice. In the rack, I used a lot of power management by Juice Goose out of Texas. Trying to find companies that I could call hand in hand that were in the United States. So I can actually call and talk to somebody like Key Digital. The racks were from Lowell, another U.S. company. Yeah, it's pretty much all the mounting came from a company called Mustang AV. They built me a bunch of custom mounts, do like that big 8 TV hanging from the ceiling display that about killed me putting it up, but took us 3 days to hang 8 TVs.
Well, you know, that ticker across the top, it looks like it's all part of the same wall. It's really nicely integrated together.
Yeah, and in the Dakota Magic, we have 2 of them. We have another one and the entrance to the sports book above the door. So anytime you're in the casino floor, you can see it. But at the Dakota Sioux down in Watertown, South Dakota, that's a little bit more open floor plan. So you can see that ticker when you first walk in the front door and you're standing looking around, you see that giant video wall. It just draws you right in.
Nice. And, it's not just a huge video wall, it's a dynamic video wall. This was a discussion that you and DeWayne, I think DeWayne, you drew this up a few years ago, even not really with this project yet in mind. Isn't that right?
I actually designed this 4 years ago. I had the vision to do this on an LED wall with the multiple MLVs. And I finally got somebody crazy enough to put it in.
That's so cool.
See, that's why my hair is about as gray as DeWayne's. I get all these crazy ideas to do.
Frost mine. This is not my natural color,
And it's dynamic.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. I was going to say what's so nice about it is we used our MLV units, 2 of them feeding the third one to get the 8 images across the LED wall without any bezels, like a traditional LED wall. I mean, a traditional video wall. And then that way you can pick any of the sources, not just 8 sources, but any of the available sources up to, technically it could be up to 256 sources, but I think we had like 17, 18 sources almost in each casino. And
that's right. Yeah, what we're looking at here says source 1 through 8, but those are actually 8 dedicated decoders feeding into MLV.
We use 9.
And 1 and 2, and then and that allows us. And they have access to over 2 dozen sources on one of the sites, maybe over 2 dozen on in both sites. Is that right?
No, there's 16 sources total in both sites.
Both. Okay.
And yes,
then we took that 9th source and plugged it in MLV3. So we had 9 sources going to the video wall.
Yeah.
That way we could do that large image in the middle without having to split something in half. It worked out nicely.
It really truly does. And it, I know the folks over at Dakota Sioux are as happy as could be with it, and Dakota Magic when the ribbon cutting happens there. And here we're just looking at even before the opening, this thing is rocking. It's when you just look at it straight on, you almost forget to realize how large it is. You need pictures like this to really put it into perspective for you. So that brought us over to the ribbon cutting ceremony at Dakota Magic Casino, correct?
Correct. This was Dakota Magic.
Yeah, and the guest of honor, none other than Mr. Chris Carter, Minnesota Viking legend himself, there to christen the sports book at Dakota Magic Casino. Big party, and I wasn't there, but you two sure were.
Oh, I wasn't at this one. I was at this is down in South Dakota, but I was at the one in North Dakota, and with Chris Carter, and that was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was a great day. And the CEO, we did an interview with him, and he could not have been more excited about the sports books and what that's going to do for their business.
Nice. And looking at this here, it actually reminds me that video wall, we do see a traditional 2x2 video wall way on that far wall there. And that thing wasn't even planned to be a video wall at first, but it was thanks to the proximity of the panels and just how flexible Key Digital's AV over IP system is, right, Paul?
Yeah, there was supposed to be four separate displays, and the electrician only put one outlet. And when I measured it out, that outlet is directly in the center of the 4 corners of that television. I mean, they were like, you couldn't have got it any more center of the wall. So I'm thinking to myself, God, now what am I going to do? But then I remembered talking with DeWayne, or maybe as you, Jonathan, about how we could make, another little video wall. So I threw the idea past the customer. They were confused. They didn't get it. I said, all right, just let me do it. You'll love it. We set it up. And that's one, there's a little couch in that area. So it's almost like a little VIP area away from the big screen, so they can sit on the couch and watch that, where there's an 85-inch next to it, and then the 485 slammed together. You see the lines in it because it wasn't it was never purchased as like a video wall display. It was just 4 TVs. I'm like, well, let's just see how close we can get them together. Took a little challenge because, you know, we're standing there at 10 o'clock at night after working 18 hours trying to hang 85-inch TVs 10 feet off the ground. And it wasn't all that fun, but hey, it looks great now it's done. And if you look at the bottom of the picture, see the gentleman with the black hat there and the longer hair?
Sure thing.
Well, that's Scott. Scott is my predecessor. He worked here. He was the guy that did my job before me. And he was the one who actually introduced me to Key Digital. And I brought him out of retirement to help me.
Wow.
And then
Thanks, Scott.
He tore his rotator cuff helping with the video wall. So he's been mad at me ever since. I figure I better give him a shout out.
Yeah, and a big shout out from us as well to Scott, because it's been quite the partnership. We've had a few really great stories, success stories, installation case studies. Some with Compass, some without Compass. You worked with our 8-button control keypad not long ago at a surgery center doing AV over IP there as well, which says mountains about how reliable our system is and the how minimal our latency is, that you could use this for the microscopic cameras. But back to sports betting. And so we've got Compass control here. Oh, I'm sorry, DeWayne.
Say I've got that short video that I shot while I was at the grand opening. If we want to share the switching between the 8, 5, and 2 images on the LED wall at some point.
Yeah, certainly we could do that. Yeah, because they just enter into the GUI, they press video, audio. They could either control the LED wall, change channels on the DirecTV, or do their video routing. We actually do have 2-way DirecTV control. So where we don't see it there in the top right corner when you're actually live on the network with your DirecTV boxes. That's what we see there. We see our layouts for the video wall, just as easy as pressing a button, really. And then the additional page there for controlling that 2x2 video wall. That was a surprise to everybody involved. Thanks, electrician. Yeah, DeWayne, let me go ahead and stop my share.
Okay, I'll do a quick share here.
So there we see the iPad and how we're currently in the layout of 8 panels, or 8 displays, if you will. Single button press. Wow, are you kidding me? There's no switching transition at all. And there it is. That's the 5 content layout with the primary source and center. Now we've switched back over to 8. Very, very cool. Yeah, our multi-viewer there is a seamless switch. And so that's what's helped us with those transitions happening right before your eyes, before you could even press the button, right? Or before you could even get the camera back up to looking at the video wall.
It's pretty instantaneous, and the customer, they were just, they're blown away. I mean, it's way more than they ever expected.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about it, is there's not, I don't think you've had anyone who went, oh, well, we could have done. No, it's like, wow, more than they ever expected. That's the best way to say it. And it's just so easy and flawless. I've been, we've seen a lot of these different sports books around, and Paul, you did a great job on this one. And so hopefully a lot of people will want to do this, and hopefully you'll get a lot more business out of this. I know you had a couple of people talking to you right there at the grand opening, and so hopefully we can do a lot more of those.
Oh man, they're going to put you on retainer. Hey, buddy.
Well, actually, I'll be there tomorrow again.
Fantastic. Well, Paul, is there any, you shout out to Scott already, any other folks that were involved in this project you'd like to plug, or anything else you'd like to plug with what's happening with you and Sight On Sound?
I guess not really. We're just cruising along. A lot of my competitors shut down over COVID, and we kept working. And See, in Minnesota, they said, no, you can't go to work. Everybody's got to stay home. And in North Dakota, they said, yeah, whatever, keep working. We want you to work. And so, but we're also considered, we were considered not expendable, but we're important. We are able to keep working. But so we did a lot of stuff, and I did a lot of bids and estimating with these people. And once COVID started getting done, people were like, they were spending money, and since I had been out there and everybody else was sitting at home collecting, dusty work boots or whatever, I went out and got the jobs, and we've been rolling ever since. And we pump a lot of key digital out of our office. I do some I do a lot of QSC, QSys stuff for my big on control stuff, but a lot of the stuff in behind it, and there's a lot of the key digital balins and extenders, and like I said, we did that big surgical center. Just recently, did the Boy Scouts of America with the BYOD product, and they love that. And that's just, and because they were having issues with their, they would rent these rooms out to like the school system, and the school systems would come in and have their meetings there, but they all had Apples, and they had no way of really connecting their iPad to their projector. I said, oh, I can fix that. And boom, done. They're like, great. We want a couple more of these down the road. So they're raising some fundage, because they don't have a lot of money because they're a nonprofit and work off of donations. And, and I do a lot of the churches and stuff too, where we will send video up to screens, and a lot of extenders involved, a lot of wall plates, a lot of HDMI and VGA or HDMI display port. Just a lot of overall products. We're pumping out a lot of work. Biggest problem is we're a small community. We're only 300,000 in our town, and there's 5 other guys just like me. So I decided to go out of town a little bit. So I'm on the road a lot, but I sell the project, design the project, and install the project. So all my people really like the fact that I'm the one that's there. I'm hands on the entire project. So it just, and then when I talked to him, I said, hey, if I have problems with the product, I said, I got the dude's cell phone number right here. I'll call him right down home. And Jonathan will answer the phone and help me out of a pinch. When he was out for supper somewhere and I'm standing in a surgical center in cap and gown and can't walk out the door at 7:00 at night and I was in trouble, he helped me. So, I tell people these things and they eat it up. The fact that I can, we get good customer service, and backing up the products, that it really helps out in the long run. So,
well, you're not just, classified as an essential worker. You're really essential to us, Paul. We appreciate you being here with us on KD Live and talking to us about this awesome AV over IP, amazing AV over IP install that you've done. We appreciate it. Anything else, gentlemen, before we wrap up?
Just going to say, one last thing on this job and just the whole concept. This is not just for casinos. I mean, sports bars. This is, the LED walls have come down in price to the point where they are very competitive to the standard displays on video walls. So I see Paul doing a lot of these, not just in the casinos, but then a lot of sports bars up in his area, and then all across the country. And so, Paul, thank you for your vision and taking our ideas and your ideas and melding together this great solution that we can all